just one end. It's the future. The Giga life ain't just one path. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.
Discover, share, and celebrate sports. Yan po naging tema sa huling 3 taon ng Power and Play. And today, it is our anniversary. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kaibigan, mga kapatid. Happy anniversary sa Power and Play. Mula po sa Signal Experience Lounge. Ako po, si Noli Iyala. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay at ng Cherry Loom. Ang yerong may aluminum na kumantakin nyo ha. Sa loob po ng 3 taon, ang amin lang pong naging pakay ay ang makabuluhan, katuwa-tuwa at matapang na talakayan sa mundo ng palakasan. Mantakin nyo, 3 taon na rin po kami after a simple beginnings at kami po ay nagpapasalamat unang-una sa Panginoong Diyos sa binigay po niya sa aming pagkakataong makibahagi sa mga kaganapan ng mundo ng palakasan. And of course, tuloy-tuloy po ang talakayan natin ngayong umagang ito dahil espesyal nga. Bagamat matumal ang mga aksyon sa loob ng courts, malakas naman po ang ugong-ugong pagdating sa Olimpiada dahil less than 1 month na lang po ang Tokyo Olympics. At mamaya po, makakausap na naman natin ang isa pang naidagdag sa hanay na mga papunta ng Tokyo para sa Team Pilipinas. And of course, ang maingay po ngayon ay ang NBA dahil nasa conference finals na po tayo. Hihimayin na naman natin ang mga kaganapan dyan sa NBA. And finally, dahil espesyal ang ating pagtatanghal, espesyal ang ating panauhin. Ngayong araw pong ito, boxing icon, Senator Manny Pacquiao, ang ating pong makakasama, espesyal, eksklusibo sa Power and Play at magaganda po ang kanyang mga binitawang mga sagot sa ating mga tanong. Abangan nyo yan mamaya-maya. Kinakamusta po natin muli lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig, taga-suporta sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM, sa 1PH on Signal TV, and of course lahat po na nagla-live stream sa Facebook at sa YouTube. And of course, as usual, ang ating laging pagsisimula ay ating inilalabas ang mga kaganapan ngayong linggo sa ating Sports Weekly Highlights. Linggo, inanunsyo na ang unification bout para sa bantamweight titles ng WBC at WBO at ang maglalaban, 2 Pinoy. World Boxing Council Bantamweight Champion Nonito Donaire kontra kay World Boxing Organization Bantamweight Champ John Riel Casimiro. Gaganapin ang kanilang laban sa August 14. Martes, nag-book na ng ticket sa Tokyo Olympics ang golfer na si Juvic Fagunsan. Ngayong paparating na linggo, inaasahan ding magka-qualify na sa Olympics ang reigning US Women's Open champion na si Yuka Saso at ang isa pang lady golf star na si Bianca Pagdanganan. Miyerkules, Tokyo-bound na rin sina Kiyomi Watanabe at Kristina Knott. Sasabak sa larangan ng judo si Watanabe habang sa athletics naman magpapakitang gilas si Knott. Dahil dyan, 15 Pinoy na ang ating mga pambato ang sasali sa Olympics. Mamaya rin ay makakausap natin si Kristina Knott para alamin ang latest sa kanyang paghahanda. Abangan! Miyerkules din nang maglabas ng fan rules ang Tokyo Olympic organizers. Dahil sa patuloy na banta ng COVID-19, mahigpit ang magiging patakaran para sa mga magiging audience sa Olympics. Ilan sa mga ipagbabawal ay ang pag-cheer, yakapan, alkohol, pati na paghingi ng autograph. Pag-uusapan natin yan mamaya-maya lamang sa Fast Take at sa Pulso ng Bayan. At sa NBA, mula na naman bang babangon mula sa 0-2 hole ang Los Angeles Clippers? Yan ay matapos nilang sungkitin ang Game 3 para bawasan ang series lead ng Phoenix Suns 2-1. Ngayong araw namang gaganapin ang Game 2 ng Atlanta Hawks at Milwaukee Bucks sa Eastern Conference Finals kung saan lamang ang Hawks 1-0. Of course, marami pa po tayong tinututukan ng mga balita at yan po ang ating weekly sports highlights. Alam na din po natin na ang Gilas Pilipinas ay naka-landing na po o dumating na po sa Serbia, sa Belgrade, kung saan sila po ay lalahok sa Olympic Qualifying Tournament. Tayo po ay nagdarasal. Medyo suntok sa buwan yan, ha? Pero siyempre, hindi naman tayo nawawalan ng pag-asa na magandang ipapakita ng ating youthful Gilas Quintet doon po sa Belgrade sa Serbia. And of course, inaabangan din po natin ang paglalaro ni Yuka Saso. Ang latest po kay Yuka Saso sa mga mahihilig sa golf, siya po ay naglalaro doon sa susunod na major, KPMG Women's PGA Championship, kung saan sa kasalukuyan siya po ay nakakwalify na sa weekend. She has made the cut. Siya po ay may score na -1. Samantalang ang ating pa pong isang kababayan, si Dottie Ardina, ay nakapasok na rin po sa weekend with a score of 3 under. Minalas lang po si Bianca Pagdangana na hindi siya po nag-qualify doon po sa weekend with a +6. Pero ang lamang po sa KPMG ay medyo malayo, ha? -11 si Nelly Corda. Pero alam naman po natin sa golf, anything can happen. So pagdasal pa rin po natin ang ating kababayang si Yuka Saso. Alright, bago po natin ipasok ang ating mga panauhin, siyempre, ang anyong paboritong segment na gusto namin makuha ang inyong opinion ay ang Pulso ng Bayan. At alam niyo naman po, kanina binanggit ko na nga, na napakarami po ngayong mga bagong patakaran sa Olimpiada. Ha? Kaya po ang aming gustong pulsuhan, kayo ba ho ay sang-ayon? Sang-ayon ba ho kayo sa mga pinagbabawal ng Olimpiada? Yung pong pag-cheer, yung pong pag-inom, bawal ang autograph, and of course, yung pong bawal daw ang mga yakapan. Alam niyo po sa Olympics kasi, meron doon mga nagpapalitan sila ng mga pins, yung mga fans, dahil nga iba't ibang mga dayuhan, iba't ibang mga tao ang nagkikita-kita doon. Well, yan po ay ngayon pinagbabawal ng Olimpiada. Kaya po ang ating pupulsuhan, sang-ayon ba kayo dyan sa ganyang klaseng patakaran? Kung gusto niyo pong makipagpuntahan sa atin, mag-text lamang sa 0908-208-0629. Ulitin ko po yan, ha? 0908-208-0629 o di kaya ay mag-post sa aming Facebook page ng Power and Play, ng 1PH at ng Radyo 5. Mamaya po babasahin natin ang inyong mga opinion. Alright, at this point, ang ating paboritong segment. Yan po ay ang usapan ng ating mga kapatid sa hanap buhay. At ngayong araw pong ito, mga balik fast takers ang ating makakasama. Mula po sa Philippine Star, si Joey Villar, at mula po sa Daily Tribune, and of course, isang FIBA correspondent, si Enzo Flojo. Magandang umaga, Joey and Enzo.
Good morning, Com.
Good morning, Enzo. Good morning, Com. And congratulations to Power and Play. Bilis ng panahon. 3 years na pala.
Talaga. You have been very much a part of this success ng Power and Play. Maraming salamat, Joey and Enzo, sa inyong pagsama lagi sa atin and of course pagsuporta. You know, before I go to the fast take, I'll begin with you muna. Enzo, alam natin na ang Gilas is in Serbia. Nabanggit ko nga kanina yan. You have been following Gilas very closely. How do you feel? Anong sentimiento mo, Enzo, at this point para sa ating mga bata?
Com and Sir Joey, no, very impressive yung play na pinakita ng mga bata natin this past week. No? Nakita naman natin, they went undefeated, di ba? 6-0 in total for the qualifiers for the FIBA Asia Cup. No? 3-0 nitong nakaraang linggo, including yung pinakamagandang napanood natin, 2 big wins against South Korea. I think naman, most people will agree na ito mga batang to, because ang average age natin, I think was around 22 years old only, kung di ako nagkakamali. So they showed so much maturity beyond their years, and they definitely defied a lot of expectations, especially with those 2 wins, and not just one, but 2 wins over a Korean team that, alam naman natin yung history natin with Korea, di ba? We haven't had the best history playing against the Korean national basketball team. But so many people stepped up for Gilas. Nandyan, syempre, ang bagong heartthrob ng mga fans ngayon, si Dwight Ramos, si Ange Kwame, syempre si Balti Baltazar, may Kai Soto, SJ Belangel with that big shot, of course. Pero gaya ng sabi mo, they're in Serbia right now, in Belgrade, for the Olympic qualifying tournament. Ang makakalaban nila, mas mabigat pa sa Korea kasi yung kalaban nila, no less than the Serbian national team. I think they're featuring around 3 current NBA players on the roster, and then after that, makakatapat nila the Dominican Republic national team na hindi rin birong kalaban, no? So mas malalaki, mas malalalim ang kalaban nila sa Serbia. Wala tayong home court edge, walang tapon sa mga makakalaban natin sa Serbia. So lalong matetest si Coach Tab Baldwin, sila Dwight, sila Ange, at ang buong Gilas Pilipinas in the coming days.
Well, alam natin, sabi ko nga, suntok sa buwan yan laban sa Serbia, but bilog ang bula, ika nga. Hindi pwede natin basta-basta sabihin na lamang na itapon na lang namin ang ating tsansa dyan. Joey, one big news na lumabas last week, of course, was the news of Juan Gomez de Leaño na papunta ng B-League. So it's Division 2 team sa Japan. Joey, is this going to be a trend sa ating mga kabataang players ng basketball?
I think magiging trend yan kasi sinimulan na ni Thirdy. Tapos muntik na si Kiefer. Tapos muntik pa ngayon naman si Deliano. And actually, hindi pa nga yun yung pinakamagagaling natin. Imagine kung makita ng mundo yung iba pang marami tayong talent na tulad nito. I think parang na-open na yung door sa future na ganitong mangyayari sa Philippine basketball. So, thankful ako kasi maraming trabaho ang mabibigyan ng ganitong opportunity. So, I'm happy for Philippine basketball.
Well, alam natin na yan ay nagbukas ng pagkakataon, opportunity, sabi mo nga, para sa ating mga manlalaro, and we certainly hope na ito ay makakabuti sa kanila, but more than that, of course, para sa ating bansa. All right, let's begin with our issues of the morning. Gentlemen, alam na ninyo ang drill. Walang mali, walang tama, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit. Ang una natin tanong, tungkol sa Gilas. Napabalita, nagbanggit na si Coach Tab na maaari niyang balasahin pa ang lineup sa mga susunod na buwan para sa FIBA Asia Cup and perhaps going into the World Cup. Ang sinasabi niya, maaari siya magpasok ng mga overseas players o di kaya ay mga professionals. So ang tanong, dapat pa ba na magbalasa si Coach Tab sa likod ng napakagandang pagpapakita ng ating All Cadets Gilas team? I will begin with you, Enzo. 1 minute, go!
Ako, I definitely think it should be considered, Com. No? Tandaan natin na as impressive as our team was in the qualifiers, we have to take into account yung mga nakalaban natin. We played against Thailand and Indonesia. With all due respect, those are not the best teams in Asia. And even if we beat Korea, again, with all due respect to the players they sent, that's not the best Korean team that we faced. And we have to assume na ang makakalaban natin in the Asia Cup are going to be much stronger, much bigger, much more experienced teams. Pero, gaya ng sabi ni Coach Norman Black sa isang article kahapon, kung kukuha tayo ng players from the PBA or si Thirdy or si AJ Edu or si Dalf Panopio man or si Kobe Paras kung bumalik, kailangan mag-ensayo sila ng seryoso at matagal. Hindi pwedeng 1 linggo lang o 10 araw lang. Kailangan, siguro for me, personally, at least 4 weeks. Pero if we're gonna pick them from the PBA or from the other leagues and then just insert them days before, I think that's gonna be counterproductive.
Excellent point. Well, maraming pag-iisip tungkol sa ganyang klaseng plano ni Coach Tab, and obviously many people will come out with very, very interesting suggestions. Joey, same question, same issue para sa iyo. Dapat pa bang balasahin, kagaya ng sinasuggest ni Coach Tab, ang lineup ng Gilas Pilipinas. You have 1 minute. Go!
Uh, I agree with Enzo na itong team na to pwedeng dagdagan ng konti. I think hindi naman word yung shuffle kasi I think Coach Tab will keep the core of this team. Ang maganda lang yung sprinkling mo lang ng mga possible holes, yung kakulangan natin. And I think with AJ Edu, Dal Panopio, and even 30 would help fill those little holes sa team natin na napaka-talented. And yung pagsali natin sa dito sa Belgrade, makikita dito kung ano pa yung mga kakulangan natin. And these players, Edu, Panopio, 3D, and perhaps some college players out there, tingin ko kayang punan Pero tama lang na i-keep yung core, tapos sprinkle ng konting talent. Kasi ang mindset natin dapat palagi sa basketball, keep on improving para lang lumakas din tayo. Hindi lang sa Asia, kundi sa global stage.
Well, I totally agree sa sa mga sinabi ninyong dalawa. I've always been consistent in my position. I want a program na from the ground. I have never believed in the pickup system. I don't think that PBA players should be included na parang NBA na bigla mo na lang ilalagay doon. I agree with you, Enzo. Dapat kung meron mang pipiliin dyan, they have to commit to this team for the long term. Kung sino man yan, if it is a collegiate player, an overseas player, a PBA player, but he's got to commit there for 4 years at the very least para po mapalakas ang ating koponan. All right, let's go to our second fast take issue of the morning. Nabanggit ko kanina na napakaraming mga patakaran sa Olympics na parating. Lalong-lalo na sa mga fans. Bawal mag-cheer, bawal uminom, bawal magyakapan, bawal humingi ng autograph. So ang ating issue for the morning, Joey, ikaw ang una. Wise ba na manood pa ang mga fans sa Tokyo Olympics given all of these restrictions ng mga organizers? 1 minute, Joey. Go!
Sa akin, nasanay nga tayo na walang fans yung pakayang meron. So I think okay lang sa akin yan dahil kasi the organizing Japanese put it in place to protect everyone in the Olympics. So okay lang yan. Tsaka I was always hoping na wag na ulit ma-postpone o ma-call off itong Olympics kasi this is the best chance that we can win our first Olympic gold. Thanks to several world beaters like, to name a few, Kaloyulo, world champion, Nesty Petesio, world champion, Yuka Saso, US women's champion, even Yumer Marshall, silver medalist sa world. And EJ Obiena is beating some of the world's best with the exception of Armando Plantis. Pero okay lang to. Tapos nakatulong din na job na yung karamihan ng atleta natin. So added protection yon. And if putting a few fans in the arena is the risk we have to take for the Olympics to push through and end the country's long search for the first Olympic gold, I would gladly let them do it.
Anything to win our first gold medal, Joey, tama? Kahit na tayo ay nangungulila sa panonood, well, tama ka, it might still be worth it. Same issue, Enzo, sa likod ng napakaraming restrictions ng Tokyo Olympics organizers, wais pa ba na manood ang mga fans sa venues? 1 minute, Enzo, go!
Well, there are so many moving parts pagdating sa Olympics. Bawat desisyon ng mga organizers may effect yan, may ripple effect sa ekonomiya, sa public health ng Japan, sa perception ng Olympics, sa perception ng bansa, sa infrastructure. Kaya I'm sure pinag-isipan nila to. I'm sure in the back of their minds, having fans is still better than no fans at all. And to make sure we put some fans in the stands, kailangan may strict protocols talaga. If it means walang autograph, walang cheering, walang pagpapalit ng badges, ganun talagang kailangan gawin. We are living in very extraordinary times, no? And so many countries want that landmark achievement at the Olympic level. If what it takes, like what Sir Joey said, no, kung ang kailangan gawin ay to have strict protocols just so these countries have that opportunity to push each other to excel on the international stage, then yun ang kailangan gawin. Not ideal, but it's what they had to do, and agree ako sa decision.
Ang tama ka, Enzo, and it's so difficult to organize such a huge event, lalong-lalo na sa likod ng pandemya. Yun nga lang, FIBA Asia Cup, napakadaming protocol na ginawa natin dyan. And may mga haka-haka pa na meron daw nag-violate, etc. etc. So you can imagine yung pinagdaraanan ng mga organizers. Maswerte tayo mga Pilipino dahil ipapalabas yan dito sa Pilipinas, live na live at buong-buo, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga atleta dito sa Signal TV, siyempre. Alright, mga kapatid, ito ang ating final take of the morning. Nako, ito yung bakbakang NBA. There are only 2 games or 2 series remaining sa East and the West Conference Finals na tayo, Joey and Enzo. And it has been a classic, pambihira so far, ang ating unang nakikitang mga laro. So, para sa inyo, fearless forecast, who will advance to the finals? Enzo, 1 minute, go!
Well, ako, yung Atlanta versus Milwaukee, gulat na gulat ako when Atlanta won Game 1. Pero feeling ko the Bucks, sila pa rin ang pabor sa matchup na to. Provided, and I think they're gonna win, provided 2 things happen. Chris Middleton has to show up. He cannot, be a regular player for the Bucks. And second, si Coach Mike Budenholzer, he was outcoached by Nate McMillan in that first game. He has to make good adjustments dahil napaka-balansyado ng Atlanta Hawks na team na to. If Buds doesn't make any adjustments, Atlanta's gonna win that series. Sa West naman, Phoenix 2-1 edge, and I think they have, they will be favored for the rest of this series. But I hope it goes to 7 games because this is such a fun series to watch. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Paul George, Reggie Jackson. It's a very fun series. But see, DeAndre Ayton is the X factor for me. He cannot be outplayed by Ivica Zubac again. Okay? So if Ayton plays well, Phoenix wins in 7 games.
Wow! Talagang matatapang na takes ni Enzo. And I know you follow everything about sports and kaya naman, I really think that it's going to be a fun conference finals. Joey, ikaw, I know you, talking about fun and fantasy, ito si Joey Villar, champion yan sa lahat ng mga fantasy leagues. Kaya magaling humima ito. Joey, conference finals na. Who will advance to the NBA finals? 1 minute, Joey. Go.
Para sa akin, I love the Suns. Pero para sa akin, I always believe the Clippers will win it all. Kasi before kasi nandiyan si Kawhi, nandiyan si Ibaka. Lalo pa ngayon na nagpapakita sila ng resiliency. Imagine mo, wala si Kawhi, wala si Ibaka, and yet they beat the top-seeded Jazz. 2 games na wala yung dalawa. And they came back from 0-2 deficit twice. And I think the Clippers will beat the Suns today kasi ang ganda ng dating nung nilalaro ni Paul George eh. Tapos si Terrence Mann, si Zubac, ang ganda ng laro, Pat Beverly. Tapos nakatulong din na si Chris Paul and Devin Booker are somehow limited with Booker. Medyo bothered siya sa face shield niya eh. So yun nga. Tapos sa kabila, I think the Bucks will beat the Hawks. Pero alam mo naman yung Bucks, they made the fool out of all of us. And if they beat the Bucks, I think they can beat anyone in the West.
Wow. So mukhang Bucks ang consensus sa inyong dalawa, but yung Clippers at saka Suns mukhang nagkakaiba. Ako, personally, I think it will be the Bucks versus the Suns. But I will never discount the Hawks after they beat my Philadelphia 76ers. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. Natalo na ako eh. But it'll be a fun series. Joey and Enzo, it's been a fun morning. Thank you for joining us today. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Com. Thanks, Sir Joey. Happy anniversary again, Com.
It's a pleasure, Com. And thank you. And so, ingat tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat sa inyong dalawa. Mga kaibigan, Joey Villar ng Philippine Star, Enzo Flojo ng Daily Tribune. Talaga naman mga magagaling at napakahusay ng mga writers at sports analysts. All right, before we continue, at this point, gusto ko lang pong ipasok ang ating This Week in Sports History. June 21, 1970 o 51 years ago nang inuwi ng Brazil ang kanilang ikatlong kampyonato sa prestigyosong FIFA World Cup. Katunggali ng Brazil ang isa ring powerhouse soccer country na Italy sa final match. At hindi nabigong magpakitang gilas ang mga taga-Brazil na pinangunahan ng soccer star na si Pelé. Tinambakan nila ang Italy 4-1 para kunin ang kanilang ikatlong World Cup Championship. Ang World Cup ay ginaganap kada 4 na taon gaya ng Olympics. Bago ang 1970 Championship, Brazil din ang nagkampiyon noong 1962 at 1958, making them the first country to win 3 World Cup titles. Pele and Brazil enters World Cup supremacy this week in sports history. Wow, grabe ho yan. And of course, Pele remains one of the biggest sports icons in the world. Kaya that is a moment in history na talagang hindi po makakalimutan. Siya nga pala, yung po mga nag-aabang ng balita tungkol sa PBA, well, ang bali-balita po ay ang PBA ay maaari nagpadala na ng request nila na magsimula sa Hulyo. So aabangan po natin yan and eventually, aasahan po natin magkakaroon ng konting anunsyo dito po sa Power and Play. At this point mga kaibigan, I'd just like to thank again ang Power and Play po is powered by Smart. And Smart would like to remind that Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Giga Life app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Giga Life app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to the Smart Network, one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. Smart, live smart. Ang Power and Play po is powered by Smart. Gusto ko rin po magpasalamat sa ating pinakabagong supporter ng Power and Play, ang Presiderm or Presiderm. Mga kaibigan, sa panahon ngayon sa gitna ng pandemya, higit nating kailangan din mga taong ating maasahan, mga lugar na makapagbibigay sa atin ng kaligtasan, mga bagay na ating kakapitan sa anumang oras. Yun sigurado, yung pwede nating tawaging most trusted. Parang Presiderm, your most trusted skincare. Marami po salamat sa Presiderm, ang ating pong pinakabagong supporter ng Power and Play. Alright, tuloy-tuloy po tayo dito sa ating sa inyong paborito kasama sa almusal tuwing umaga na pag-uusapan ang Tokyo Olympics. 15 na po ang atleta na Pilipino na papasok sa Olimpiada o maglalaro sa Olimpiada at tayo'y aasa na marami pang madadagdagan. At isa dyan ay ang centerpiece ng Olympics, track and field, kung saan pangalawang atleta po natin sa track and field. After EJ Obiena, si Kristina Knott has qualified under the universality quota. At ito po, si Kristina Knott ay tatakbo sa 200 meters. Siya po ang ating Philippine record holder ng 100 meters, breaking Lydia De Veca's esteemed record last year. At siya rin po ang may hawak ng 200 meter Philippine record. Meron po, inabutan po natin si Kristina Knott mula po sa Sweden. At ito po ang ating interview with our sprint queen.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kristina, under these very difficult times.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You know, the last time I had you on the show, you were still in the process of doing some races so that you could get those points and qualify. Well, you have qualified under the universality rule, and
Yes.
you will now be running in Tokyo in the 200 meters, of course, one of your favorite events. All that hard work has really paid off, right, Kristina?
Yes, it's a relieving feeling.
Well, everyone, is celebrating that we will be represented in track and field. Of course, it is the centerpiece of the games, and you and EJ Obiena have already qualified in track and field. Of course, we're still waiting for Eric Cray and some other athletes, Natalie Uy, maybe, and But how does it feel to finally make your first Olympics, Kristina?
It's exciting. When I first heard the news, it was mixed emotions because, as you guys know, I tested positive for COVID-19. So when I got the news, I was actually on my COVID bed, not my deathbed, but my COVID bed when I got the news. So it was a weird feeling. I'm like, okay, I qualified, but I'm on my bed. Nonetheless, I'm honored and I'm super excited.
Was that simultaneous when you got the news of your qualification? You also got the news of your COVID results?
So it was the following morning. So I was supposed to compete the day before, but my teammate, Eric Cray, he's here with me. He told me, he was like, hey, because we got tested before the meet started. And he was like, you tested positive. And I was like, what?
Whoa,
Everyone
what?
tested negative, but me. So I'm like dealing with that. And then I go to sleep. And then the next morning, my phone is like going crazy. And I'm like,
Right.
why is everybody saying congratulations and all this? So it was like a mixture of like congratulations, but like get well. So it's so weird. It's so weird.
Well, okay. How do you feel? I mean, first of all, are you asymptomatic? And right now, how does it feel?
I feel great. If anything, I'm confused because everyone who I'm with tested negative. I'm the only one who tested positive, and I feel great. So I don't know if it's a false positive or if I'm just like asymptomatic. Like I have no idea.
And do you have any idea where you contracted this? Well, if you are indeed positive, do you have any idea where you might have gotten this?
I know when I first got here, I was like sneezing a lot, but it's what is it called? Allergy season in Sweden. So I bought some allergy pills, and once I popped those pills, I was fine. That's the only thing that I can think of. And just talking with my coach, he was like, if anything, you probably got it in the airport because we had like a lot of delays like coming into Sweden. So just being in Germany for a long time, like I don't know if I got it there. Like,
all right. And how long is quarantine? I mean, we know you are in Sweden and you were supposed to race, but because of this, you've had to be quartered, isolated in your hotel room. How long is that, and how many days have you been under quarantine?
So they said 5 days. So today is day 4. I get tested tomorrow. So prayerfully, I test negative, and then I can go back home and just get back to the drawing board.
All right. So it's only 5 days, and you get tested, and hopefully you're out of there and back in training. So, talking about training, how has this quarantine affected your timetable in terms of training? Obviously, you're not outdoors, and is there something you're doing while you are in quarantine?
It's funny because I actually did a workout yesterday, and I'm like kind of sore. So it's so funny that I'm like still like getting the work in like in my room. So, but
and there is no concern. You do not have any concerns that this will be prolonged and that you will have more delays in your getting back on the track.
No, I think I will test negative.
All right, that's great news, and everyone is of course praying for you, hoping that KK will be back on the track where you should be rather than in your hotel room.
Yeah.
We've been following your performances. You've been doing great time. You have last year when I interviewed you, I remember you just broke the 33-year-old record of Lydia De Vega in the Drake Blue Oval meet, where you clocked in an 11.27, a new Philippine record, and of course, you hold the 200-meter record in the Southeast Asian Games as well. Are you satisfied, Kristina, with the progress that you have made leading up about a month before the Tokyo Olympics?
No, I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. But I think that's what's motivating me and fueling me. to run well at the games.
And is there a particular aspect of your technique, of your style that you are currently focusing on, that so that you can, get to that level that you want to be?
Yeah, so the 200 is a rhythm race. So I know, like me and my coach, we're going to work nothing but rhythm and race distribution going into the games, especially because I only get to focus on the 200, which is good. Because I know there's a lot of this year, like I focused a lot more than usual on the 100. So I'm excited to just really tailor training focused on the 200.
Is there a particular time that you are hoping to reach just before the heats? And that would indicate more or less that you are 100% ready.
Yes, I am trying to get out of the 23s. I no longer want to run 23 seconds in the 200. So if that's 22.9 or better, I'll take it because I am tired of running 23.
And of course, we know that there's a lot of factors that will have to come to play, and all the stars should align just for you to get to that goal. But are you confident that that 23-second barrier will be broken in this year's Tokyo Olympics by Kristina Knott?
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's terrific. Well, you are now quarantined. You were supposed to race in Sweden. So what's up? What's ahead of you? Are you still joining any other races before Tokyo?
No, so on the 26th, which is tomorrow, we were supposed to be in Finland. I had my last race scheduled in Finland, but because of the quarantine, my first race back is going to be in Tokyo. So
wow.
Yeah.
So are you flying to the Philippines first before you fly to Tokyo?
No, so I'm going back to Florida for a week, and then I'll do a mini training camp with my coach in Austin, Texas. And then from Austin, we have another training camp in Nagasaki, Japan. And then, as you know, athletes can only enter the athlete village 5 days before our event. So from Nagasaki, I will go to Tokyo.
I understand that's also where EJ Obiena is going in Nagasaki. So this is a training camp that is sponsored by the PATAFA. Is this right?
Yes.
Great. All right. And when you look at the field now, Kristina, and you know now that you will only be racing in the 200 meters. Are there names that you are watching out? Their times as well, just to see how tough the competition will be?
Of course. In the 200, I know a lot of the dominant 400 runners are also running it. So, you have the gold medalist from Rio, who's in that, Shawnee Miller from the Bahamas. And then, the most decorated woman, Allison Felix, she is going to be in that field as well. So, there's some big names out there that I'll be running with.
Well, and I guess that just pushes you a little more. Just like when EJ said that he'll probably be jumping against Mondo Duplantis and Thiago Bras. These are all the big names in the Olympics. Obviously, you're all pushed to your limits with competing with the best in the world. Talking about the Olympics, this is your first Olympics, Kristina. What are you most looking forward to outside of the race?
It's hard because just they sent the protocols and all that stuff, so we won't be able to explore. And I was so looking forward to exploring Japan because I've never been to Japan. But just being in the presence of greatness and just being able to be present in craziness that's going to happen on the track, I'm looking forward to watching the women's 100. And the fact that I can be there and be present to witness all of that, I'm excited for that.
Amazing. That is, of course, the center of attraction when it comes to the track and field meets. But, the 200 meters is also very exciting. And that's something that we all will be looking out for, especially when your heats come up. I know it's not a vacation. I know how strict Japan, the organizing committee, will be. We have read some of the protocols that they will be implementing. They have said that there will be no sightseeing or side trips. But when obviously you'll be in a village, are there any personalities that you are hoping to bump into and to meet while you are, of course, in the Olympics? People that you admire, and I guess you've been dreaming of just getting a chance to talk to.
Yeah, I would love to, get to know some of the other Filipino athletes. I know we kind of like cross paths a little bit, like at Asian Games and at Sea Games, but like Highland and the skateboarder, like I would love to meet them.
Yeah, well, Marjolin definitely is going to be there. We've got a lot of new faces as well. A lot of our golfers will be there, and of course, Heidelin will be there, and all of our boxers. So it will be an impressive array of Philippine athletes. And they're saying right now that this is probably the best delegation that we will be sending. And some people are even predicting, hopefully, a couple of medals, just not one. Are you excited about the prospect of joining Team Pilipinas and really coming up with a breakthrough in the Olympics?
Yes, I'm super excited. It's an honor, first off, but I'm just excited to just be surrounded by other athletes who are great.
And on the other side of the paradigm is the fears. You've never been to the Olympics. You obviously will be trying to make your way through that. And the Olympics this year is a lot different, although local spectators will be allowed. I understand from what we read. But are there any fears or concerns on your part as you enter? COVID, is that something that is a concern of yours? Have you gotten a vaccine for that matter?
Yeah, so that's just one of my concerns. I wouldn't say any fears, but I am fully vaccinated, and it shows that still when you're fully vaccinated, you still can contract the virus. So I contracted I think they were saying I got the Delta strand. So yeah, so I'm like, is there another strand in Tokyo like besides Delta?
Yeah.
So it can be frustrating just thinking about the protocols, but if that's what we have to do to stay safe and stay COVID free, like I'll take it, because being locked in a room for 5 days is not fun.
Yeah, I know, but again, after working all these years just to get this chance to compete in the Olympics, and knock on wood, you get knocked out because of a virus. I mean, it must be really scary. And I guess you're right. If you have to follow the protocols more than what is given by the protocols, just to stay out of harm's way and just make sure that you're going to run, I think all of you athletes will be doing that, right?
Yes.
All right. We all know your story. Your mother is from Cavite, from Imus, and we all know that, it's been written that you volunteered to compete for the Philippines in your desire to know that side of your heritage, the Filipino heritage. And along the way, you've become a Southeast Asian Games champion, and now you are an Olympian. How cool is that, Kristina? From the beginning of your journey to what is going to happen now.
Yeah, it's super exciting just thinking about it. So I've been like writing out my prayers since 2018, and becoming an Olympian was one of them. So it's just so nice to just be able to go back and highlight it like an answered prayer. So yeah, it's so cool.
How is your family reacting to all of this?
I don't know, because it's kind of hard to judge their emotion based on virtually, but they're posting a lot. Extended family is reaching out, so I can only imagine how proud they are.
It's just too bad that, of course, international spectators won't be allowed to watch you live in the competitions. But many Filipinos are going to be rooting for you. And do you feel any kind of responsibility or pressure right now?
Pressure. Maybe just a little bit, because I gotta make it through the rounds. That's the pressure I have on myself. Like I don't want to just go there just to go. Like we need to go there, show up and show out. That's the goal.
Yeah. Well, it's a long ways, but you know we're obviously all hoping that you will be racing all the way to the finals just to give you a chance, because we know that when you get there, you know it can be anybody's race. You know, track and field is a sport that anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. I know how ambiguous this time is. You know, you're celebrating, but at the same time you're isolated. But when you look back now, Kristina, what is the meaning to you of being an Olympian? I mean, now that you can call yourself an Olympian, well, you're a month away from stepping in to the Olympics. Now that you've qualified, what does it mean to you personally?
Personally, it's just an opportunity to put the greatest flag on my chest and show up and show out. Time to represent.
That's as good as it gets. I mean, short, concise, but definitely, you know, it's got a lot of meaning. And Kristina, we wish you all the best. I certainly hope that you get out of your quarantine very soon and get back on training. So good luck, and we will see you in Tokyo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yan po mga kaibigan ang ating panayam kay Kristina Knott, ang ating 200-meter track and field na pambato patungo sa Tokyo Olympics. And we certainly are praying na siya ay makalusot na dun sa kanyang quarantine para magpatuloy na ang pagtitraining niya bago ika nga makarating sa Nagasaki, where they will have a training camp very, very soon. Alright mga kapatid, tuloy-tuloy po tayo dito sa Power and Play Anniversary episode sa aming pagbabalik. Senator Manny Pacquiao ang ating makakapanayam dito po sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's the one? Simple, smart ako. Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. with the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.
Naimbag na bigat po sa ating mga kapatid dyan sa Urdaneta, lalo-lalo na kay Congressman S.K. Estrella. Magandang umaga, partner. Salamat sa pagsuporta. Magandang umaga rin kay Coach Alan Gregorio. Nakasama ngayon si Randy Molina, nanonood sa atin. Maraming salamat. Ikaw, Alan, may utang ka pa sa akin, hindi ka pa nag-a-appear. At binabati po natin yung Plando family, si Belen and Wendy mula sa Balacan. Ito po'y pagbati mula kay Maring Dines Regner. Alright, ang dami na po nating nakausap ng mga celebrities at marami na rin po tayong nakapanayam ng mga superstars dito po sa ating palatuntunan in the last 3 years. But this is one guy na matagal ko na pong gustong makapanayam. He is the quintessential athlete, Filipino athlete of our time. The 8-weight division champion and of course, the People's Champion. At siya po ngayon ay ating makakasama in a very special interview sa anibersaryo ng Power and Play. Mga kaibigan, ang ating interview with the People's Senator, Senator Manny Pacquiao.
Umaga po, Senator Manny. It's very good. Kami po yung masayang-masaya na makasama kayo ngayong araw na ito.
Good morning, Noli, and good morning to all the viewers, mga supporters na nakikinig ngayon at nanonood.
Senador, alam ko po na talagang puspusan na po ang inyong paghahanda dahil malaki na pong balita yung inyong laban kay Errol Spence Jr. Pero pag-usapan po natin mamaya yan. Pero unahin ko lang po, Senador, alam naman natin, dahan-dahan ng binubuksan ng ekonomiya. Pero yung larangan po ng palakasan, ng sports, medyo mabagal ang pagbukas, lalo na po sa amateur sports, no? Yung mga liga ng ating mga kabataan. Ano po ang posisyon ninyo dito, Senador? Dapat na ba hong buksan na uli ang mga liga at matagal-tagal na rin pong napahinga ang ating mga atleta?
Siguro, natingin ko, buksan na nila unti-unti at alam naman natin yung ibang halos karamihan sa atin, lalo na yung mga kabataan natin na atat na back to work sa kanilang whatever sports na gusto nila, especially basketball, na talaga mahilig sa basketball yung mga Pilipino eh. So, dapat payagan na nila as long as clear naman sila doon sa RT-PCR at saka yung iba na vaccinated na sila.
Tama po yun, Senador. At mukhang dinadahan-dahan na yata ng PSC yung pong pagbabakuna ng ating national athletes and hopefully po pati ang ating mga collegiate athletes, Senador. Alam naman ho natin maraming natenggang mga industriya na konektado po sa sports, no? Kagaya po ng mga gym, mga fitness industry, at iba po mga trainers, yung po mga talagang nandyan po sa industriya ng palakasan. Senador, meron ba hong mga legislation o tulong na may bibigay ang pamahalaan para dito sa ating mga kababayang medyo na natenga sa trabaho at hindi po ngayon na makapagtrabaho at makakuha ng hanap buhay?
Mayroon naman siguro sila, kasali sila doon sa mga ayuda na ibinibigay ng ating gobyerno at mag-register lang sila doon sa kung saan sila nasasakupan ng lugar. At ang ating gobyerno naman nagbibigay talaga ng tulong doon sa mga walang hanap buhay at nangangailangan.
Alright, Senador. Sabi ko nga, ang pinag-uusapan po ngayon ng maingay ang inyong parapit na laban kay Errol Spence Jr. Ang una ko po sigurong katanungan, Senador, bakit po si Errol Spence Jr.? Alam na ho natin na siya po ay malaki ang bata, undefeated, at ika nga, mabangis din. Iyan ba ho ang talagang hinahabol ninyo, Senador, sa inyong laban?
Alam mo, like I said na hindi naman ito, hindi ako katulad ng iba dyan na pera-pera lang. kahit na hindi boxing hero ang kalaban, at hinahamon. Kahit hindi boxer yung kalaban, hinahamon para lang may pera. Ako kasi gusto ko yung fight. Fight talaga to challenge the best. Laging ganun. Sanay tayo dyan sa hanggat nandito pa tayo sa sports.
Senator, meron ba ho kayong mga pinagpilian dyan sa bago nyo napili si Spence? Meron ba hong listahan yan at yan ba ho ay pinag-isipan nyo muna bago nyo talagang itinakda itong laban na ito?
Actually, ang pinagpilian dyan, pinagpilian ko si Crawford, Errol Spence, at saka si Mikey Garcia. Tatlo yan. And then, come up to Errol Spence. One at a time naman tayo. At maganda din yun, laban kung possible yan. Yung Crawford. Parehong undefeated din yan.
Oo. Pag tinitingnan ninyo ho si Errol Spence, Senator Manny, ano ho ang nakikita nyong medyo mabigat na estilo niyan at inyong pinaghahandaan ngayon sa inyong training?
Kailangan lang dito talaga stamina at malakas yung katawan mo. Kasi itong fight na ito, you have to expect that more action in the ring compared to the last 3 fights that in the past sa career ko. Ito ay maraming action na magaganap sa taas ng ring. So make sure that our stamina na enough na hindi tayo magkapusin doon sa taas ng ring. Yung 12 rounds na yun.
Alright. Alam naman ho natin ngayon, panahon ng pandemya, ng COVID, mahirap pong lumabas. Talaga hong pinagbabawal din ang napakaraming aktibidades. Ang mga numero din po ay hindi naman bumababa pa. In fact, tumataas pa po sa ibang lugar, lalo-lalo na sa probinsya. Naiba ba ho ang training ninyo, Senator Manny, ngayong may COVID-19?
Sa ngayon, ang training ko, nag-a-adjust na ako. Actually, pagising ko kanina mga 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock na ako ng gabi nang gumising. Tapos nag-jogging ako kasi 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock sa Amerika, sa US. So nag-jogging ako kanina and then after jogging kain ako. Tapos mamayang alas 5, alas 6, punta ako sa gym, mag-training din. So nag-adjust na ako dito para pagdating ko sa Amerika, hindi na ako mahirapan. Pag-araw, natutulog ako dito.
Wow!
Natutulog ako pag-araw, tapos sa gabi ako nag-training.
Wow, talaga hong malaking adjustment para sa inyo. Pero at least pagdating ho nyo ng Amerika, wala nang jet lag. Hindi na ho kayo kailangang magbago ng sistema. Kailan ba ho ang pagpunta nyo sa Amerika, Sen? Kailan ho ang alis nyo?
Ngayong July 3. So kaya nag-adjust na ako para pagdating ko doon, hindi na ako mahirapan.
Alright. Well, Senator, ito, tatanungin ko, although nabanggit nyo na kanina, nagkomentaryo si Floyd Mayweather na lumabas ito sa mga post niya, no? Na pera-pera lang daw yung laban na tinanggap ninyo. At nakakaano daw na hanggang ngayon, yung pa ang rason kung bakit lumalaban kayo. Ano ho reaksyon ninyo doon, Senator?
Alam mo, kung pera-pera, di kumuha ako ng pipitsoge na katol na hindi boksingero. Kung pera-pera yung, alam mo, kung pera-pera yung habol ko, bakit kukuha ko ng legend, kukuha ko ng undefeated? Diba? Mahirapan pa ako. This is the real fight. Hindi yung fight na hindi boksingero yung kalaban mo. Yan ang pera-pera, yung hindi boksingero yung kalaban mo.
At saka hindi ho kayo lumalaban para sa pera lang. Yun ang siguro ang punto dyan. Hindi naman ho pera ang pinaglalaban lang.
Lumalaban ako kasi passion ko ito. Sanay ako na yung gusto ko yung tinatalo ko yung mga undefeated tapos nakapagdadala ako ng karangalan ng ating bansa. So yun yung maganda doon.
Then, alam natin na mahihirapan din magkaroon ng fans. Although alam natin sa Amerika nagbubukas-bukas na yan, dahan-dahan na binubuksan yan. Komportable ba ho kayo kahit na limitado ang fans na papasok? At alam naman natin, napakarami hong Pilipino na gusto manood ng inyong laban.
No, sa Amerika, talagang 100% na sila.
Okay.
Wala nang-
So we expect the full
Wala
house.
nang- wala na silang social distancing. Complete na talaga.
All right. Sen, before I leave your professional career, ito ba ho ay expected natin na hindi pa ito huling laban ni Manny Pacquiao?
Ang masasabi ko lang, it's hard to say right now. It could be or there's more fight after this. But one at a time lang muna tayo ngayon. Hindi natin masasabi. Kaya pwedeng meron pa.
All right. Well, that is alam naman ho natin, everyone is hoping na kayo ay patuloy na nasa mabuting kalagayan and hopefully ay makalaban din dito sa Pilipinas. Senator, let me go to another topic. Ang ating mga atleta abroad, and kayo ang epitome ng isang Pilipino na lumaban sa labas ng bansa para sa karangalan ng ating bayan. At marami po ang sumusunod sa inyong yapak. Ngayon nakikita natin sa iba't ibang palaro, golf, tennis, yung pong si Yuka Saso, nanalo po ng golf, US Women's Open. Unahin ko po muna yan. Ano po ang inyong reaksyon doon sa pagkapanalong yun ni Yuka Saso? Ano po ang inyong masasabi na kahalagahan po nun para sa ating bansa?
Alam nyo, Nolino, bawat Pilipino na nagdadala ng karangalan sa ating bansa, talagang proud ako, masaya ako dahil yun naman talaga ang nasa puso. Kaya ako nandito pa dahil kasiyahan ko na isa sa mga kababayan ko at marami kaming nagdadala ng karangalan sa ating bansa. Kasi sa ayat sa gusto natin, masyado tayong underestimated in terms of mga pagdating sa Asia, pagdating sa mga Pilipino, pag pumunta ka sa ibang bansa, talagang masyado tayong minamaliit. Kaya masaya ako na may mga kababayan tayo, hindi lang ako, kundi yung ibang mga kababayan natin na nagdadala ng karangalan sa ating bansa. And like I said nga, sabi ko sa kanila, yung politics, huwag nating ihalo sa sports kasi sa sports tayo nagkakaisa. In politics, we are divided, but in sports, we are united.
Ganda po nun. Alam niyo po, yung pamangkin ko, si Alex Ayala, ay maganda rin ang pinapakita sa tennis. At lahat po na itong mga atletang ito, Senator Manny, ang lagi ko po tinatanong at ang aming pinagtataka is, paano po ngayon sikat na sila? How do they handle this? So kayo po, Senador, na you came from your very early beginnings to na megastar in sports, ngayon po leader ng bansa. Ano po ang inyong payo sa mga kababayan nating atleta na nagtatamo ng tagumpay and in how they should handle success? Ngayon pong very successful na sila sa kanilang mga karir.
I love your question, Ole. Yan na talaga ang problema sa mga atleta pagka sumikat, nagkaroon ng karangalan, medyo nakilala, pumapasok sa ulo yung kasikatan at tagumpay. No? Dapat ang isipin ng bawat atleta ay habang ikaw ay nagtatagumpay, habang ikaw ay sumisikat, the more you humble yourself before others and before God. Make sure that your mind and focus, your focus and to your career at sa relasyon mo sa Panginoon, yun ay importante. Kasi once na magkaroon ka ng kayabangan, magkaroon ka ng yung kumbaga naging mayabang ka na, umangat yung paa mo sa lupa, yan yung isa sa mga ikasasira mo. That's the beginning of your downfall later in your career. So the more na sana na the more na naging successful ka, the more blessings na you receive, the more na maging humble ka, the more na maging matulungin ka, huwag kang maging mayabang.
All right. Well, very, very sound advice. At of course, coming from you, Senador, I'm sure lahat
po ng mga nakikinig sa ating mga atletang nagtatamo ng tagumpay ngayon ay talagang dapat matuto. Senador, pinag-uusapan po
Kasi
ang
may-
tagumpay. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, Senador.
Kasi may kasabihan kasi yan, with great power comes great responsibility.
Tama ho yan.
Remember na may yung responsibility na yon pagka kasabay ng pagsikat mo, kasabay ng tagumpay mo, yung power na ano mo, yun yung pride, kayabangan, ingatan mo na hindi pumasok sa puso at sa isipan mo. Because pag pumasok yan ay ano para cancer sa buhay mo at sa career mo.
Yan po ang unang bahagi ng ating panayam kay Senator Manny. Tutuloy po natin yan. Antabayanan niyo po. Marami pa pong kaming pag-uusapan ni Senator Manny Pacquiao sa aming pag-uusap noong isang araw. Pero at this point, gusto ko lang po magpasalamat sa lahat po ng tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Una sa listahan, Big Boss Cement. Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement. Di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement is the first eco-friendly cement company in the Philippines. First and only cement that is produced with low to 0% of high carbon footprint materials. Big Boss Cement, marami po salamat kay Engineer Gilbert Cruz, ang Pangulo at Chief Company Innovator ng Big Boss Cement. Marami din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, mga kapatid, sobrang init tapos biglang uulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tiyak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pang matagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you so much kay paring Elmer Ngo. Marami din po salamat sa Elms Tapas and Winery located in Calle Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City, and sa Elms Grill and Bar sa Poblacion, Makati. You may call mobile numbers 0977-157-0499 or 0966-854-4048 or visit their FB and IG pages at Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Thank you so much kay Miss Malu Yambao. Thank you also to Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming nahihirapan ka, book Joyride Motorcycle Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. Kapag delivery naman, Joyride ang gamitin. Bagsak presyo pero hindi ang serbisyo. Joyride is now on its lowest rates ever. At bukas na rin po ngayon ang JR Mall, the latest offering ng Joyride. So, download the latest Joyride Super App now. Thank you also sa ating mga kasama sa Makakasama Professional, your school of makeup artistry, the official makeup of Power and Play. And marami po salamat sa Skin, your face and body anti-aging center with branches at Wilson Street, San Juan City and Alabang Town Center sa Muntinlupa City. We provide in-deba tissue regeneration procedure, mesotherapy, Maximus Tri Lipo, and many more. And to take care of your body needs. For inquiries, please call 0977-809-8886 or 0917-890-1640 and look for Dr. G. Sarmiento or si Doc Richie Sarmiento. Marami din po salamat, of course, sa Smart. Live Smart, Power and Play is powered by Smart. At marami din po salamat sa ating pinakabagong tagapagtaguyod, Fresiderm. Mga kaibigan, sa panahon ngayon at sa gitna ng pandemya, higit natin ang kailangan ang mga taong ating maaasahan, mga lugar na makakapagbigay sa atin ng kaligtasan, mga bagay na ating kakapitan sa anumang oras. Yung sigurado, yung pwede natin tawaging most trusted. Parang Fresiderm, your most trusted skincare. Marami din po salamat sa Diario Milenio, ang Power and Play media partner. Thank you so much mga kapatid sa lahat po sa mga tagapagtaguyod ng inyong programang Power and Play. And right now, balik po natin ang ikalawang bahagi ng ating interview with Senator Manny Pacquiao. Alright. Sen, malapit na po ang Tokyo Olympics at sa kasalukuyan, meron na tayong 15 mga atleta at sigurado pong madadagdagan pa yan pag pumasok ang iba pang magka-qualify. Unang-una po, kayo ba ho ay confident sa ating mga atleta na sa wakas ay mababasag na po natin yung ating paghihintay ng unang gintong medalya sa Olimpiada?
Ako yung nagdadasal palagi na magkaroon sa wakas na magkakaroon tayo ng gintong medalya sa Olympics. Kasi at sa tagal ng panahon, nangangarap tayo. Ako man, nung nag-amateur ako, gusto ko, kaya pumasok ko, nag-apply ako sa Philippine team eh. Sa Philippine team nung araw, sa ABAP. Kaso lang, hindi ako nakuha. Dahil, alam mo naman, nung araw may politics din sa boxing. Hindi ako nakuha. Hindi ako marunong. Ito yan. Hindi daw ako magaling. Hindi ako marunong kaya hindi ako nakuha sa ABAP nung araw. Kaya nagpilitan ako mag-professional yung dahilan. So, I'm hoping na this time around, makakuha tayo, makasungkit tayo ng gintong medalya para sa karangalan ng ating bansa. And unang-una, congratulations pala sa pamangkin mo, si Alex, for winning in friends tennis competition. Nabalitaan ko.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat po, Senador. Batang-bata pa at talagang malaki ang kanyang hinaharap, Senador, pagdating sa tennis.
Gusto ko ang pangarap ko, alam mo pangarap ko, makapanood ako ng tennis game doon sa Wimbledon. Wimbledon?
Oo,
Wimbledon ba yun?
Wimbledon, Senador.
Wimbledon, makapanood doon ng live sa tennis laro ng mga sikat na tennis player.
Senador, pagka nakapasok yung pamangkin ko, papaimbita ko kayo para dun sa kayo mismo ang nasa box ni Rafa Nadal pagka naglaro si Rafa Nadal.
Yes, sige.
Senador. Senador,
alam mo, mahilig ako nanonood kami ng misis ko ng tennis palagi. Kaya madaling araw.
Madaling araw.
Palabas yung tennis eh.
Oo. Yan bang ang tennis, isa bang sport yan na sinubukan nyo pa rin? Yan ba isang sport na, alam ko marami kayo nasubukan ng laro eh. Mula basketball hanggang chess, hanggang bilyar, hanggang diving, lahat ng klase ng sport, kahit golf.
Volleyball.
Yan bang tennis eh, volleyball. Sinubukan din ba ho niyo yung tennis, Senador?
Tennis din, tsaka ping-pong.
Abay, talaga naman. Talaga naman, napakaganda.
Table tennis.
Oo. Senador, matanong kita, balik na natin ng Olympics. Si Yumir Marshall, alam namin na nasa stable ninyo at siya ang isa nating pambato pagdating sa boxing. Ano po ang inyong nakikita sa kinabukasan ni Yumir? Ano po ang inyong tansya sa kanyang kondisyon ngayon?
Malaki ang potential niya para makasungkit ng gintong medalya sa Olympics. At naway, pinapayuhan ko nga siya na focus lang siya, huwag magkumpiyansa palagi. Make sure na saka na siya magkumpiyansa pagkatapos ng Olympics. Kailangan yung focus niya, determination niya nandoon at higit sa lahat magtiwala sa Panginoon dahil siya lamang ang nagbibigay sa atin ng tagumpay at lakas.
Alright. Alam mo, Senador, isang pinagtataka ko. Dahil kayo po ay matagal ng leader ng ating bansa at marami na po rin kayong pinamunuan. Pero bakit ho sa isang National Sports Association ay hindi ho kayo nagbalak maging leader ng isang NSA? Alam naman ho natin may mga ibang miyembro ng Kongreso na naging NSA president po. Kayo ba ho ay naimbita ever na maging presidente ng isang sports association natin?
Hindi ako naimbita eh. Kung imbitahan ako, willing naman ako.
yun ang magandang marinig. Alright. Sen, marami pong, of course, pinag-uusapan din ngayon ay ang ating Gilas Pilipinas basketball team. Alam ko po na malapit ang basketball sa inyong puso. Ito pong ating inilalaban ngayon na Gilas Pilipinas ay puro bata. Nakita po natin na naglalaro na ngayon ay puro mga tiga-kolehiyo, mga hindi po professional, na pinangungunahan ng ating basketball wonder na si Kai Soto. Senador, sa tingin niyo ba ho itong programa ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas ay maganda na puro bata ang ating idinidevelop imbis na mga professionals?
Kailangan din siguro natin yung mga professionals, yung mga na-experience. Kasi iba kasi yung pagdating sa when it comes to experience, advantage na yung may mga experience na naglalaro. Hindi naman siguro lahat may experience, pero kailangan din natin mga bata i-mix na siguro, ipaghaluin na lang para mayroong magdadala, magtitimo ng team.
Pero yung, ewan ko po kung napanood nyo yung ating mga bata, pero napakaganda na kanilang ipinakita. Tinalo nila ang Korea 2 beses, hindi po sila natatalo pa sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifier. At doon po sa kanilang scrimmage game ay tinabla nila ang China na meron pong mga dating NBA player. Senador, alam ko po kayo naglaro sa PBA and nakita nyo ang estilo ng laro. Sa tingin nyo ba ho ay nasa tamang direksyon na po ngayon ng basketball sa ginagawa nating programa?
Maganda yung programa ngayon. Mga college na, yung mga bata. Talagang hindi tamad tumakbo. Talagang takbuhan at masipag. Hindi na papitik-pitik yung, especially pag-hustle ng bola, lahat, pag-rebound. Yung pag-rebound nila, importante yon, depensa. Nandiyan, hindi sila na napapagod basta-basta dahil mga bata. So, malaking bagay din, malaking bagay.
All right. And Senador, of course, ang PBA ay patuloy na nag-iintay ng kanilang pagsisimula. Marami pa rin katanungan sa inyong paglalaro sa PBA. Can you describe to us, Senador, ano po yung naging pinakamagandang experience nyo sa paglalaro sa PBA?
Yung pinakamagandang experience sa paglalaro ng PBA, yung nakashoot siguro ako ng 3 point. Naka-3 points ako. At saka yung
napatunayan nyo.
Yung mag-head coach ako, tapos playing coach, parang si George.
Was that an experience? Ano? Talaga ba hong pangarap yun yan? Na maging coach at player?
Pangarap ko yan, natupad.
Napakaganda. Alright, Senador, before I leave basketball, sa NBA, alam ko yung kupunan ninyong LA Lakers, hindi na naglalaro sa playoffs. But meron tayo na iwang 4 na kupunan, Clippers, Phoenix Suns, yung pong Atlanta Hawks at Milwaukee Bucks. Ano po ang
from beginning, Milwaukee Bucks. Kasi this is the right time for Antetokounmpo to shine.
Panahon na talaga.
Panahon niya ngayon, kapanahonan kasi yan, 26, 25. Kasi nung ako 25, 26, talagang
Kalakasan.
Kalakasan talaga.
Well, paborito ba niyo si Antetokounmpo, Senador?
Antetokounmpo.
Okay, yeah.
May isa pang mga 2 years from now, 3 years from now, ang malakas dyan yung si Doncic.
Ng Dallas.
Dallas. Dallas. Doncic, yung 3 years from now, yan. Talagang walang makakapigil yan.
Well, aabangan natin yung prediction yung yan, Senador. At ako naman ay sang-ayon sa inyo sapagkat talagang napakagaling talaga nung si Luka pagdating sa paglalaro ng basketball, no, Senador. All right, talking about Luka and all of these players, Senador, they have stayed in great shape. Kayo, Senador, ang napupunan namin despite ang trabaho ninyo sa Senado, despite sa lahat ng inyong ginagawa sa ating mga kababayan, you have stayed in great shape kahit po walang laban. Ano ba ang motivation nyo, Sen, na patuloy ho kayong talagang kondisyon na kondisyon, bagamat walang laban, nasa kondisyon pa rin, so that you can tell this to our people. Ano ba ho ang kahalagahan ng pagiging fit sa isang tao?
alam mo, kahit na wala akong fight, I love exercise, by the way. Kahit wala akong laban, nag-exercise ako. Gusto ko physically fit ako at yung gusto ko may ginagawa, nag-exercise ako. Gusto kong pinapapawisan ako. Yung ayaw kong tumaba. Iniwasan ko yung tumaba ako at manghina. Kasi pag mataba ka, tatamad ka na, tatamad yung katawan mo.
At saka hindi mo bagay sa inyo. Hindi ko mailitrato yung itsura nyo kung mataba kayo, Sen eh. Pag pinag-uusapan ho, Senador, yung pagiging fit, alam naman natin sa Senado, marami din ho kayong kasamang mahihilig sa sports. Sino ho ang first five ninyo pagdating sa sports dyan sa Senado?
First five, si Sunny Angara, Villanueva, Joel Villanueva, si Win Gatchalian. Mga
Tatlo na yun, Sen. Sino pa yung dalawa?
Sunny Angara, Villanueva, si
Win Gatchalian.
Win Gatchalian, ako,
Sino yung panghuli, Sir?
at saka si sino bang isa pa dyan?
Si Senator Subiri, parang kondisyon yata si Senator Subiri.
Subiri yan. Sa sports yan, Subiri.
Oo, dahil nag-aarnis si Senator Subiri. Although si Senator
Tama, si Madjo.
Senator Tito nag-golf rin yan. Napakagaling na golfer din ni Senator Tito.
Yes,
No?
si SP.
Okay.
Si SP naman, mahilig din. Mahilig din sa sports.
Alright. Well, Senator, alam mo, marami pa ho kaming gustong itanong sa inyo. Pero before I let you go, Senador, marami na ho kayong ginanapan na mga roles sa inyong career, sa inyong buhay, mula sa isang senador, sa kongresista, sa kampiyon ng boxing, sa isang PBA player, sa isang coach, sabi nyo nga, isa pong philanthropist, isa pong businessman. Senator Manny, how do you want to be remembered when you finally hang up your boxing gloves and kayo po ay huhusgahan na ng kasaysayan? How do you want to be remembered ng mga Pilipino?
Ganda ng tanong yan na kaibigang Noli, no? I want them to remember not only because I'm a good boxer or because of my accomplishment. I want them to remember me na who I am and who is Manny Pacquiao. Ano yung pagkatao ko, kung ano yung pagkatao na yung nagawa ko sa kapwa. Yun yung gusto kong gusto kong maalala nila ako na hindi yung ako champion. Gusto kong maalala nila ako na si Manny Pacquiao isang inspirasyon at isang halimbawa na tao na kahit na champion, kahit na maraming narating, maraming na-accomplish sa life, hindi nagbabago, hindi naging mayabang, hindi arrogante, hindi nang-aapak ng tao. Yun yung pinaka-importante sa akin dahil ang priority ko is yung relationship ko sa Panginoon and relationship ko sa tao. Kung the question is what I have done pagdating ng panahon, pag wala na ako dito, what I have done in this world. Gusto kong marinig sa Panginoon pag wala na ang Manny Pacquiao dito sa mundo, sasalubungin ako ng Panginoon, well done, good and faithful servant. Yan ang gusto kong marinig.
Wow. Yan po mga kaibigan ng ating panayam with Senator Manny Pacquiao, the 8th weight division champion and of course the boxing icon at ating pong people's champ, ang Pambansang Kamao ng Pilipinas. Alam niyo po, matagal ko nang nakasama si Senator Manny. Batang-bata pa ho yan. I had the time when ako ay na-introduce sa boxing as a fitness regime. Kasama ko po si Com Willie, Marshall. Kami po ang nagbaboxing noon, mga 90s. At si Senator Manny at the time, in fact, nag-usap pa kami after that interview tungkol sa mga araw namin yon. Nung panahon na sabi nga niya, naka-shorts lang siya at naka-chinelas. And we would be seeing each other sa LM Gym. Minsan, in-offer sa akin mag-sparring ni Coach Nonoy Neri, ni Coach Buboy Fernandez at si Mang Ben. Na ngayon ay nasa Florida na. But those were the days, ika nga. And he's gone a long, long way. Ang alam ko lang po, walang politika, hindi po, walang halong politika. Ang alam ko po ay mabuting tao at napaka-wagas po ang kanyang puso para sa ating mga kababayan. Maraming salamat po kay Senador Manny Pacquiao for making our anniversary episode, a truly special one. Bago po tayo mag-break, gusto ko lang pong batiin ng isang happy birthday ang ina ng mga Gregorio Brothers, ni Pato, ang presidente ng Philippine Rowing Association, ni Coach Ryan at ni Coach Alan Gregorio ng NLEX. Si Tita Lucille Gregorio, para ko na rin pong kamag-anak. Tita Lucille, happy birthday po sa inyo. Pagbati mula sa akin at sa buong Gregorio family. Gusto ko rin po nga palang batiin ang aking ina, si Inay Rita, na ngayon ay nagpapagaling sa ospital. Nay, pagaling ka. We will see you soon sa bahay. Alright mga kaibigan, tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa Power and Flame sa aming pagbabalik NBA. Ang ating hihimayin kasama ni Homer Sison at ni Coach Charles Chu. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom powered by Smart.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart, ako. Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart, ako.
Alright mga kaibigan, tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa Power and Play. Alam niyo po, ang NBA ay ngayon nasa huling dalawang serye nila at ito po ang conference finals ng NBA. Of course, sa East, naglalaban ang Milwaukee Bucks at Atlanta Hawks at sa West, magkalaban naman ang Phoenix Suns at ang LA Clippers. A few weeks ago, kasama po natin ang ating susunod na mga panauhin. Hinimay nila yung semifinals and now we are in the conference finals. And we are very honored to again have with us ang ating NBA resident expert, Homer Sison mula sa Chicago, at si Coach Charles Chu, another NBA analyst para dito sa ating Signal TV. Magandang umaga, Homer and Charles.
Morning,
Morning,
Com.
Com.
Happy
Good morning,
anniversary.
Homer.
Morning, Coach.
Salamat for joining us. Sabi ko nga, two of you have always been supportive of the show, and it's just fitting na makasama namin kayo on our anniversary special. Again, we're down to the final two series, gentlemen. But bago ko puntahan ang conference finals, just a little take on what just happened in the semifinals ng ating NBA. And if you look at those semifinal games in the East and the West, Homer, what has been the most compelling takeaways from you, for you, dun sa semifinals na yun?
For me, it's Ben Simmons, universally panned, getting paid 169 million and just utterly disappeared. Parang hindi siya vaccinated in the virus that is called post-season allergy. So yun ang nangyari kay Ben Simmons. And the reaction, the condemnation was to me the greatest, because rarely do even former players like Magic Johnson, rarely do they criticize active players. There used to be criticisms used to be sanitized with half praise and half criticism. But dito, the condemnation was just brutal. Sabi nga ni Magic Johnson, he will not survive this. The locker room will not survive this. And for me, the greatest takeaway is yung coach mismo, Doc Rivers, when he was asked kung point guard, pwede pa bang ma-point guard mo si Ben Simmons, sabi niya, Commissioner, I don't have an answer to that, which I think was very telling for the future of the 76ers.
Bago ko puntahan si Charles, no, Homer, the Philadelphia 76ers continue to say that they are working with Ben Simmons in a report yan, of course, in social media, and they continue to be upbeat about him and Philly working together in the future. Do you think this is all smoke screen o nagpapatas lang ng presyo ang Philadelphia para makakuha ng mas magandang trade?
Of course, because when you condemn your own player, it loses its value. There's like I have said in my column, and I've written in my column, the hardest thing to part with Ben Simmons is that $169 million contract, Commissioner. He will be paid close to $50 million on the final year of that contract in 2025. And right now, the value of Ben Simmons is 30 cents to a dollar. Sabi nga ng one of the general managers, because if Ben Simmons, I promise you this, if Ben Simmons is going to be put in the trade market tomorrow, there's going to be at least 9-10 teams that will make an offer. The problem is, what kind of offer would they get? Kasi nga, sabi ng isang general manager, Commissioner, if you are a 14th place team and want to go to number 6 and make the playoffs, Ben Simmons is your guy. But if you are a top 12 team and wants to make a run at the championship, Ben Simmons is not your guy. And and because his value is so bargain basement right now, Commissioner, if you trade for him, not only do you'd also get many assets, just like what the Sixers got when they, the Brooklyn Nets, the Houston Rockets, got when they got James Harden. So I think it's all smoke screen, Commissioner. You can't say na, kahit na hindi mo na gusto yung player, you can't say you don't like him anymore because he loses his trade value.
All right. Coach Charles, another takeaway that has been very, very loud in social media and among analysts is how big health has played a role in these playoffs. Yung factor ng pagiging available ng mga players. How big has it been really, Charles, dito sa mga past series na nakita natin?
I think it's big, no? The numbers really back it up also. Even LeBron James chimed in on it saying na medyo, siyempre maraming stars na mawala. We've never seen this. But of course, I know they're trying to explain that there's a balance between the business side of the league that they understand. They had to start right away after the end of last season. So yes, it hurts. But at the same time, I think a lot of people are also happy na maraming ibang new teams right now, new faces. But ako, sa akin, yung biggest takeaway from the semifinals, obviously, I was wrong. I thought your Sixers would win. Siyempre, masakit nga. Joel Embiid got hurt. That changed everything also to me. But Homer's point on Ben Simmons' doctors was spot on. But sa akin yung coaching eh. Parang here we can see I thought we saw coaches outcoach each other. Look, I know the Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets, but I thought Budenholzer did a poor job. Like, I thought he was lucky. I thought the Bucks would win the series really, but medyo chamba para sa akin. Medyo swinerte lang sila kahit pa paano. On the East, I thought everybody likes to criticize Coach Tai Lu. I thought he actually outcoached Quinn Snyder. He made the gutsy adjustment, rotation-wise, and the Jazz never adjusted. I thought the Jazz should have also won that series. So, medyo nasira ng Sixers and ng Jazz yung picks ko eh. Kasi unforeseen eh. So, medyo disappointing. But, I thought some coaches really did a good job. And Coach Nate McMillan, of course, and we've seen it. Kala ko, chamba yung panalo ng Hawks. But hey, they beat the Bucks in game 1, although they're in deep trouble right now.
Well, I totally agree with you, especially from you, from a perspective of a coach, Charles, that many coaches did the major part in pushing their teams towards the finals. And I agree, Quinn Snyder, ang sama ng kanyang coaching, never adjusted during that entire series. And of course, nakita naman natin yung ginawa din ni Nate McMillan para sa Atlanta Hawks. But here's another thing. A lot of people are saying, ang lakas-lakas ng opensa ng Brooklyn Nets. Ang lakas-lakas ng opensa ng Denver Nuggets. Ang lakas-lakas ng opensa ng Utah Jazz. But in the end, are we seeing that defense still beats offense pagdating sa series na ito?
Parang especially that you look at the Jazz Clippers series. When the Clippers really tightened things up, they were able to win defensively. The Phoenix Suns were also excellent defensively in sweeping the Nuggets. And then you just saw the game yesterday versus the Clippers and the Suns. Ang ganda na naman ng defense ng Clippers. So for them, parang even if they're missing Kawhi Leonard and lacking their firepower, pag nakakadepensa sila, may chance sila eh. So, I think, yes, defense is still as important in the playoffs. Kasi now, parang everybody's in it. Basta you can score more than the other team. That's true. But if you make your opponents struggle, at least defensively, then I think you'll always have a chance.
Well, Homer, nakita natin ang collateral damage of the postseason so far. Rick Carlisle is out of Dallas. Terry Stotts is out of Portland. And Boston has made their changes. Are we going to see other teams making changes? For instance, do you think Quinn Snyder, ang ulo niya is on the chopping block?
No, I don't think so. First of all, Commissioner, he's very good friends with the new owner, Ryan Smith. Secondly, it's hard to justify firing a person based on performance. He's been to the playoffs 6 straight years. And this season, he won 52 games, the number 1 seed. And the other one, the coach killer is when your best player does not endorse you anymore. Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Ingles, and Rudy Gobert, they all love Quinn Snyder. There are just times in a coach's life, Commissioner, when you just get terribly outcoached, as pointed out by Coach Charles. But it is not by any means an indictment to the coaching capabilities of Quinn Snyder. At the very least, para sa akin, if Ryan Smith must make a voicing change, a coaching change, there has to be another season to see. Because, there's always that caveat, Commissioner. If I'm also the coaching staff, I'd say, hey, give me a healthy Donovan Mitchell. Give me a Donovan Mitchell who's going to be healthy all season long, and let's go from all playoffs long, and let's go from there. So, yun lang. I think his job is not on the chopping block.
All right, let's go to the conference finals now. And so far, it is 2-1 in the West para sa Phoenix Suns, although nakabalik ang Clippers kahapon. And it is 1-0 for the Hawks. Again, it's upset in Game 1 by the Atlanta Hawks laban sa Milwaukee Bucks. Let's start with the West, Charles. Do you see the Clippers doing what has never been done before, climbing out of a 0-2 hole in 3 consecutive series?
Well, they also were the ones who choked their 3-1 lead last year. But no, I don't think that they will do it. I see them maybe making it up to 6 games max. But I thought they sort of, I wouldn't say got lucky, because they did a great job defensively. Pat Beverly was just all over Devin Booker. But I think it's rare to see Booker and Chris Paul combined for 10 out of 40 or mga 20+% shooting. Both of those guys really struggled from the field, which is very rare because they're both very efficient. I think this is Devin Booker's year out west. I think he's gonna play much better. Syempre, medyo factor in yung mask niya. He really struggled. So, to me, it was a one-off game. Credit the Clippers. Again, they made great defensive adjustments. I thought Terrence Mann again was huge, and Pat Beverly has been huge, apart from, of course, Paul George playing better. And even si Zubac, who was a plus, 33 in 28 minutes or something like that. But yeah, the Suns, they struggled yesterday, but I still see them winning the series because I still think they have the two best players and they have a better overall team defense.
Homer, Coach Charles is picking the Suns. Nakita natin ang Clippers have been very gritty despite the fact na si Kawhi has not been there for them. Are we seeing Paul George rise again to the occasion here? And is Terrence Mann and Reggie Jackson for real?
Yes, they're for real. But the first question, Commissioner, is this. The LA Clippers have thrived playing with fire in this postseason. 0-2 against the Mavericks, 0-2, trailing behind the Utah Jazz and somehow win the series 4 straight games. But the question is, if you play with the Suns, are you not going to get burned? And the answer is yes. They're not going to beat the Phoenix Suns, Commissioner. And here's why. Number one, Paul George. Yan ang sinabi mo, is he capable? I don't think so. I don't think so. I trust Paul George the same way I trust SBP running our 3x3 tournament and program. Kasi ito kasi yung Commissioner. Paul George, every time we believe that he is back, the redemptive values that we've seen him in game 1, and we say, hey, playoff P is back, blah, blah, blah. And then when the game was on the line, free throws, the easiest shot in basketball because nobody's guarding you and you have 10 seconds to shoot the basketball, and he missed it. And here's the critical thing too, Commissioner. During his time with the Indiana Pacers, Paul George was 0 for 8 when attempting potential game-winning baskets. 0 for 8 is really not a big deal. But what's the concern here is that he was there in Indiana for over 5 seasons, Commissioner. We're talking 300 regular season games, and you only attempt 8 game-winning shots, potential game-winning shots. So it just mirrors, the lack of trust and the lack of, nga sinabi nila, Commissioner, past behavior is an indication of future behavior. So that, to me, I just don't trust and then you also look at the Phoenix Suns. You know how good and deep the Phoenix Suns, Commissioner, are? Number one, they have 6 players scoring in double figures. The versatility is out of this world. Booker is leading the scoring with 27.2 points per game. DeAndre Ayton is leading with the rebounds with 10.9. Chris Paul is leading the assists. So it is so varied. And you have Cameron Payne, Cam Jackson coming off the bench. They are so versatile defensively. They can guard small ball. They can guard big ball. They can guard transition. They can guard zone. It's just remarkable, Commissioner. It's one of the games. Sabi nga ni Coach, it's one of those games na, Booker, Chris Paul Booker was bothered by his mask, but he would never admit that. At tapos itong si Chris Paul, he was out from the team for 10 days. He couldn't even practice. So obviously, kita mo naman yesterday, 5 of 19 from the field. He was out of his comfort zone. Chris Paul is a great player, but he is not a step-back three-point shooter. That's why he was so miserable yesterday. 6 turnovers, so unlikely. Game 4, he probably would have his legs under him. They will win Game 4, Commissioner. And then, I agree with Coach. This will not go more than 6 games.
Coach Charles, yung mga binabanggit ni Homer about Chris Paul, obviously he has been affected by COVID. How, as a coach, how will you use Chris Paul in this series? And the other thing I want to ask about Chris Paul is this the series? Is this the season where Chris Paul establishes himself as maybe the top point guard, one of the top point guards of the NBA ever?
I think so, Com. I think this is his golden chance to win a championship and really cement his legacy. There's always been a knock na, he hasn't really had playoff success, always getting hurt. Ito medyo malas na yung COVID niya, di ba? But I think he has a chance, although I still think the Bucks will win the championship. Pero after game 1 nila sa Hawks, medyo natakot na ako dun. But with that being said, being a coach and having a guy like Chris Paul, I think you just have to trust him. If he says he's good, you have to believe it. There's no way there's a superstar type of player like that na sabihin mo, hindi, I'm going to limit your minutes. So I think it was important that he played those minutes in Game 3 and kind of struggled. Kasi nga, he hasn't played in a while. It hasn't been with the team. Medyo, maybe he changed the way they played. Nag-off rhythm sila. But at least it's out there na. Tapos na yun. So I expect them to have better cohesion in game number 4. I expect him to figure things out better with his teammates also. Obviously masakit na na-injure si Cameron Payne. Hopefully he'll be okay. But they need Chris Paul, and he's still, as you said, he right now is probably top 5 all-time point guards already. So yeah, this is his series to really make a claim to rank higher pa sa NBA. So I think Chris Paul will definitely make his mark right now. I mean, he's up against Reggie Jackson, up against Pat Bev, maybe Rondo, his rival. So yeah, he better dominate those guys right now, or it's gonna add to the naysayers criticizing his Hall of Fame resume.
All right, let's go to the East, Homer. Right now in Game 2, milya-milya ang lamang ng Milwaukee Bucks. They're up by 32 points at the half. Alam natin nanalo ang Atlanta in Game number 1. Was this a fluke? Is this are the Bucks finally waking up to the reality na hindi natin pwedeng basta-basta na lamang ang tratuhin ang Atlanta Hawks?
Well, the reason why natalo yung Milwaukee Bucks in Game 1, Commissioner, was that the three-point shooting, which was number 3 in the league, abandoned them. 8 of 30.
We'll try to get back Homer. Mukhang nag-freeze ang kanyang set. But, maybe when we get him, balikan ko muna si Coach Charles. Charles, as I was saying, do you think that are we getting Homer again? Sige, go ahead, Homer, please. Can we?
Yes, the three-point shooting. If the three-point shooting of the Bucks, deliver as expected, like in this game. In Game 1, nga, sabi ko, they were 8 of 36. They missed 28. Today, so far, before I jumped in the program, they already had made 9 three-pointers, and this is the first half. Secondly, turnovers. Atlanta already had 10, so some of the wounds are self-inflicted, and they've been able to contain Trae Young. So, para sa akin, Commissioner, Atlanta still looks good and are in a very good place. They now have home court advantage, and let's see if the Bucks can contain Trae Young, which is something they haven't been able to do in Game 1 when he scored 48, 11, and 7 assists.
Remember, in this postseason, ang dami ng tinatambakan, and then teams come back. The Nets and the Bucks in that series, ilang beses tinambakan ng Nets ang Milwaukee Bucks, but it went down to a Game 7, and in the end, the Bucks pulled through. We've seen the same thing with Atlanta and Philadelphia. Ang daming beses na lumamang ang Philadelphia, and the Hawks came roaring back. Coach Charles, are the Hawks legit? Can they make a run? And is Trae Young truly a star?
They are legit for sure. Trae Young is a problem for everybody in the NBA. He's a legit star. He's been the biggest reason for the Hawks' success. I think the key of the series will be how the Bucks will eventually stop him. Late in game number 1, they started switching a lot more, and it really slowed down Trae. Trae is great in the pick and roll. In terms of one-on-one, I think you can live with him being contested with those long threes with the taller guys of the Bucks. But if they're going to go drop coverage now with Brook Lopez and those things, he will burn them to death. So I'm curious to see what type of pick and roll defense the Bucks will run and trade the whole time. Kasi pick and roll, he's great. So many options. But without it, one-on-one, okay lang, kaya pa rin, but not as effective as the pick and roll. And let's not forget, si Bogdanovic is hurt. So they medyo undermanned kahit pa paano yung Hawks. So the Bucks just need to find a way to stop Trae Young, and I think they'll be okay. But then again, as you said, the Hawks have shown the ability to come back from big deficits, especially against the Sixers.
All right. And finally, Homer, Giannis, this is his chance to validate maybe that 2 MVPs that he has won. But is it really Giannis para sa Bucks? Or are we looking at Middleton as more relevant in this series for them to pull through?
Still Giannis, Commissioner. And that's where the problem is. That's where the good and the bad news is. Because the good news is, Giannis will always deliver. In Game 1, even in a losing effort, 32 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. The problem is when the game was on the line, Giannis was as far as possible away from the ball because he was afraid he was going to get fouled. And there was even instances in the series prior, he's not there because he gets fouled. But if the game is close, even Middleton, Commissioner, the problem with the Bucks is that their stars cannot create their own shots in a way like a Jamal Murray would, a Trae Young would, could create separation. Because you look at Middleton in Game 1, that was an ugly shot to end the ball game, and that's the only play they could conceive. So the Bucks are good when they're leading like this, when they're blowing out the teams out of the building. Pero kung close, Commissioner, that's where the problem sets in. So, so I'm not really trustful of the Milwaukee Bucks. Like I said, the Atlanta Hawks are, sabi nga ni coach, the real deal.
Okay, so give me your fearless forecast, Homer, for this conference finals, and who makes the finals?
Finals for me is Atlanta Hawks and the Phoenix Suns.
Coach Charles?
Ako, Bucks and Suns ako, the finals.
All right, I won't ask you your finals predictions yet. Alam ko na pag-uusapan pa natin yan at matagal-tagal pa ang mga laro. Let me go before I leave, Coach Charles. You know, the NBA, or rather USA Basketball, has already appointed the 12-man US Olympic team that will play in Tokyo. Is this enough? Is this team a sure gold pagdating sa Olympics?
I don't think so. If Australia figures things out and if Jokic is convinced to play for Serbia, although that would mean na ma-out yung Pilipinas, di ba? Pero if he's there for Serbia and they're complete, I think they could beat this USA team. I have legitimate concerns and kawawa si Coach Pop nito if he doesn't win again.
Homer, do you agree?
No, Coach, I love you. You know that, Coach Carl, but the US team is unbeatable. That lineup is spectacular. By the way, Commissioner, I got an email today from Craig Miller, which is the head of USA Basketball Communications. Siya yung PR nila. Sabi na, I will be furnished videos because walang media availability. So may mga videos, interviews for coaches. I will pass it along to your producers so we can share it to some of our listeners dito and viewers dito sa Power and Play.
Great, great. All right. And my final question, there is a spat going on. Nag-aaway si Kevin Durant at si Scottie Pippen. What is your take there, Charles?
Oh, that's interesting to me. I mean, I'm actually with Kevin Durant there. Para, you know, Scottie Pippen's talking about all this team stuff, but he's taking shots also at Michael Jordan and everything. So, you know, I'm with KD there. I don't know what's going on with Scottie Pippen. Obviously, without MJ, he wouldn't be anywhere really. He had his chances with Portland, with the Rockets. Didn't really go anywhere without MJ. They lost to the Knicks. So, you know, it's tough for me. I'm a bit surprised, but yeah, KD did everything he can to win. So I can't really complain with KD there.
Alam mo, nakakalungkot na parehong legendary names are, you know, talking. KD will be a Hall of Famer in the end. Homer, at this point, Scottie is talking about LeBron being better than KD. What is your take?
Commissioner, before I say anything kung saan ako, KD or Scottie Pippen, let me just show you this.
You're in Chicago.
Okay.
Mali ka tanungin.
Here's the Commissioner. Here's my take. Scottie Pippen has a book to sell. His book will be launched next month. He's going on a media tour. And the best way to sell books is when you're on the front page. So to me, this kerfuffle is nothing. I think privately, God knows, they might be texting with Kevin Durant. You know, kasi Kevin Durant then is also not averse to publicity. So para sa akin, Commissioner, 6 championships, I think it would allow you some leeway to talk trash. So yun na masabi ko.
And that's what makes life and sports so beautiful. Gentlemen, maraming salamat sa oras na binigay niyo sa amin. Homer and Charles, stay safe. We'll see you again.
Commissioner, one more thing. May ano lang ako sa iyo, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Kasi na-demoted yung tao natin. So ito na lang gagawin natin. Joel Embiid for Barangay Captain. Joel Embiid for Barangay Captain. Joel Embiid. Commissioner, happy anniversary. Coach Charles.
Salamat. Mga kaibigan.
Thank you.
Coach Charles Chu at si Homer Saison breaking down the NBA. Barangay Captain. Right now, Ben Simmons for Kagawad. Wag na Kagawad. Ilipat na natin ang ibang bansa. Ay, nakakatuwang usapan tungkol sa NBA. Well, Tapos na po tayo dito sa ating anniversary episode. Before I leave, alam niyo po itong Power and Play, 3 taon na po kami. It's been a long time. We started, this was just a show that was supposed to be a filler. Meron po tayong mga kaibigan na nagyaya sa atin, oy, meron akong airtime, gumawa ka ng programa. I was retired. I didn't want to go back, but it's been fun the last 3 years. And I'd like to thank everyone na sumuporta po sa Power and Play. Unahin ko na po si Parang Elmer Go na talagang naging brainchild niya to. Kasama ko po. And we are golf partners. We're very good friends. Parang Elmer, maraming salamat sa suporta mo at sa patuloy na pagpupush mo at pagmo-motivate sa aming lahat. I'd like also to thank another one who's given her support, si Tita Tina Tan. Tita Tina, maraming salamat sa iyong ginawa. Si Dines Regner, ang aming marketing head. Si paring Al Aranilla, who has been very supportive. Ang aming salesperson, si Joy Abaha. And of course, my producer, Gab Malyari. Nandito si Gab eh. He has been really working so hard, really trying to do all the adjustments in the show. Maraming din salamat of course kay Mike Santillan, aming talent coordinator na laging nangungulit sa lahat ng mga guests namin. During the pandemic, my kids all worked with me at home. And of course, my inspiration, Irene. Thank you so much for helping me sa Power and Play. Ang aming floor director, si Nora. Ang aming director, si Christian. Everybody working para sa Power and Play. Kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa 3 taon ng inyong pagsuporta at kami po ay nangangako na muli pang papalakasin ang inyong paboritong kasama sa agahan, ang Power and Play. Ito po ang Power and Play at kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat. At lagi naming sinasabi, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, Servisyo para sa Pilipino. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid. More power, more play.
Welcome to the Giga Life. Your passions, your stories, your life. Simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Giga Life in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.